Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only Hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Hosting Cruz, and I'm here to talk about heavyweight contender Jared Big Baby Anderson, who made his return to Madison Square Garden on the Keyshawn Davis versus Dennis Berinchik card. And he was basically actually the second fight on the card, man. From being on the main card to fighting on Riyadh's season card to second fight on an ESPN top-ranked card where not much people in the theater yet. It is crazy how big of a step back Jared took, but even though he was coming off a loss, against one of the top heavyweights, the boogie, maybe quite possibly the boogeyman of the heavyweight division, in Martin Bakole, who in my opinion is scary as hell, man. He's big, punching power, good hand speed. He is like the second coming, I'd say third coming of George Foreman. Remember, George Foreman, second coming was when he came back fat. Big George Foreman, 45 years old, heavyweight champion of the world again. So this is like the third coming of Big George Foreman and Martin Bakole. I see a lot of George and Martin. But yeah, Martin Bakole TKO Jared in 5 rounds. Now Jared held his own in that fight. He stood in the pocket, fired back at Martin Bakole, and he tried his best, man. He tried his best. You know, he didn't ran from the Martin Bakole smoke. But in the process, he got TKO'd, and this was his first fight back against Greece's Mario Kollias. He was 12-3 coming in with 10 KOs, and a good fighter, if you ask me, because the way he performed, he knew what he was doing. He had good punching power. When he let his hands go, he looked really good. And he had his moments with Jared, clipping Jared, where Jared was on the offense at times. And that's a habit that Jared has always had. You know, when he's on the offense, he tends to get clipped by return fire. And, you know, he happens to take it well. So Jared has shown a sturdy chin at times. But in this fight, you know, coming off that knockout loss, not just Jared, but other fighters coming off a knockout loss like the way Jared did, you tend to ask what's going to happen, how will they respond, will they be gun shy? And Jared was neither. He was not gun shy. He responded pretty decent, not the best. Jared won the fight, unanimous decision. He won every round. He controlled every round, even though at times he got clipped by trying to go in and finish Mario off. But if you look at the fight, Jared boxed pretty well. You know, he used his jab, the right hand. At times he would land some pretty solid shots. But like the commentary said, Tim Bradley said, he doesn't want to be in there. He's holding back. He's winning every round. He won the fight, but something about Jared, man. And I'll be honest, Jared, it was not his best performance, even though he won it clear. I felt Jared held back in that fight for some reason, even though he won every round. There were moments I saw Jared could have really stepped on the gas, but he didn't. Something I didn't catch that Tim caught was that Jared told his corner when he went back to the corner that I'm tired. Even the facial expression was like, get me out of here, please. And that's not a good sign. Now, it was enough for Jared to win the fight. Jared pushed through. He finished the fight. And as Jared, at times in the past, he has said that he doesn't want to do this sport for too long. He doesn't really love boxing. And he doesn't want to do it for too long. But and the goal is to retire at 26. Now, that's not going to happen because he hasn't accomplished really anything. No world titles yet, no regional titles, nothing. So if his goal is to retire at 26, he's got to forget about it because there's nothing there that he has accomplished for him to do so. Um, so 26, maybe 36, if you ask me. Now, with this performance, of course, Jared continues, is back in the winning column. Now, what's next? Maybe a top 15 heavyweight. Who knows? I think Jared needs another fight like this in terms of level of opposition wise before he steps in there with a top 10 heavyweight. A good fight for Jared actually would have been Guido Vianello from Italy, the Italian Olympian. But he's going to be fighting Richard Torres in what should be a tremendous fight. So that would be like a good fight for Jared. A good fight for Jared too, in my opinion, would be a fight between him and Efe Ajagba. That's a pretty good fight. That's a fight. But Efe Ajagba, I think to me, is gonna be fighting Martin Bakoli. Not sure that fight. I think that fight was made official, but I know the talks was solid. But it was an IBF eliminator. But yeah, Jared. I feel Jared will perform better next fight. I think, coming off the loss, the way he did. Jared, it was not his best performance. It was enough to get him the decision, to get him over. We don't know, like how Tim said, we don't know what happened in training camp. We don't know what's going on in his personal life, all that stuff. But he got the job done. He did the most important thing, which is get the victory. Mario Kollias is a good fighter, though. He's a good fighter. He's no slouch. At times, if Mario Kollias had stepped on the gas, he would have done some real damage to Jared Anderson. But, so remember, like the end of the fight, Mario Kollias let his hands go, and he had Jared on the ropes pinned, landing his shots, and they were like, the commentating table was like, where was this? You're doing it at the end of the fight. Where was that earlier? So yeah, I just want to come out here and talk to you about Jared Big Baby Anderson's return. He won the fight by unanimous decision in a fight that he won clearly, obviously, but it was not a performance where Jared Anderson showed the world that forget my loss, it happened, I want the smoke. He didn't show that. But he got the W. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Hosting Gurus. Don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, guys. It's always a pleasure to talk to you about boxing. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.